Well, hello, friends. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. We are going to put together the mini album pages that are featured inside the June 2023 Stamp of the Month project kit. So this is a free pre-cut kit that you can receive from me. I do these every single month. You can receive it from me by placing an order on my shopping website during June 2023. So it's a 6 project kit. The other videos for the projects are uploaded on the YouTube channel as well. So they will walk you guys through assembly, start to finish, on how to put the projects together. So during the month of June, we had the 2 mini album pages. These are the 8x6 pages. And as you guys may or may not know, we have 8x6 albums within our product line, and we have 8x6 page protectors. So this size coordinates with a size that you can actually store away in an album safely underneath a memory protector. And we started this back in 2019, where my customers and I were just essentially building an album throughout the year. So some of my customers will keep them for themselves. Some of them will give them away for Christmas gifts. I have one customer that I refer to her often when I talk about this, but she has 3 grown daughters. And so she makes 4 sets every single month. She makes a set for her and then a set for all 3 of her girls, and they get them for Christmas each year. And she's been doing that with me from the beginning. So it's super fun. And if you guys did not know, when you qualify to earn the free kit with your order, you also get the files as well. So you're going to have a cutting diagram. So if you guys, maybe you want to make multiples of these pages, you'll have the cutting diagram to help you do that. Same way with the cards. The Cricut Design Space link is also included for you. So all of those fancy shapes and all of that stuff that I have created in the kit, custom and all that good stuff, you will have those as well. So lots of resources for you guys, not just the pre-cut project kit. However, that is a nice little perk, right? So we're going to put together the mini album pages today, and you guys can see the cards on another video. I love this design. I was so happy to be able to feature an interactive card. I think this is so fun, this neat little easel card. So if you guys want to see how easy it is to create those, check out that video on the YouTube channel as well. So we're going to put this fun little, very simplistic, very generic and themed mini album layout together. So we have very little bit of the stamping. As I have shared with my ladies many times in the past, it is challenging when you're forced to use the one single stamp. So I try to make projects that will appeal to our card makers as well as our memory keepers using the same stamp. And some months that's a little more challenging than others. And so we didn't use the stamp set a ton in this project. We have the greenery here that we've stamped. And then it was challenging to find a sentiment that was a part of the set that would work for my pictures. Now, I like to do that. I love taking sentiment stamp sets and using them almost like a caption in a photo. So I do tend to use a lot of my sentiment stamps on my scrapbook pages. However, there were only 2 sentiments and they were kind of challenging. So we have the Grateful for You that we have stamped up here on the photo. Now I know some of you guys don't like stamping on your photos. That's okay. You can stamp on the pattern paper if you would rather. But I like to just kind of take up some of that empty space if I don't do it on top of a person's face, of course. But I will many times take the empty space in a photograph and I will stamp on it, or I will add a cluster of embellishments or some pattern paper or something like that over top of it. I love the look of things overlapping. I feel like it looks much smoother, and it's just a very nice draw to your eye when you're looking at the project. You don't really have these harsh lines where things stop and kind of, it just feels a little more put together and fluid if you just kind of have the corner of something kind of overlapping something else. And so if you look at my artwork, a lot of times that is how you things that you will notice about the way that I design. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Since I have my platform next to me, let's go ahead and stamp on our photograph. So let me grab my photos. You're going to need in your kit, guys, we've already put together several of the cards, so those are missing in my pile. But your white cardstock that has the rounded corners, that is your paper that you will be able to stamp your greenery. So you have enough to stamp 4 pieces of greenery. If you want more than 4, you'll have to grab from your stash, but you have enough to stamp for the 4 that we used. So you'll need this for your project. You'll want to stamp your greenery and then trim that out. I've already done it, so you guys don't have to watch me. That part would take a while. Your little baggie is going to have the pieces that we need for the layout. Your espresso base pages, you'll need those. And I, of course, have printed 2 more photos that I will place in my album. So what I want to do is I swap my photos a little bit, and I just want to make sure that the photo that I place on either side, that my overlap is not going to be covering up a face, okay? So I wouldn't want to put this photo right here on the right side, because this overlap is essentially going to be covering up my face, okay? So we're going to put this one on the left side, because this is just blank space anyway. Nobody cares what the grass looks like. So this overlap will not harm that, okay? This one, we're scooted over a little. We've got the grass over here, so that will line up perfectly on the right side. So just take a look at your photos, and you're going to want to place them on either side where your overlap is not going to be on top of a person. That is rather unkind, even to myself probably. So we're going to stamp on the one on the left, which is why we had to have that figured out before we did our stamping. And we're just going to put grateful for you up here in the top right. So yes, I know that most likely we'll only need to stamp it one time. I can do that with a block, but I tell you guys, once you get used to using a stamping platform, man, it's hard to go back. It is just so user friendly. And if you do need to stamp more than one time, it makes it so easy and foolproof to do that. So the reason why I moved my photograph like this is I find the one place that I do not get really great stamp images are the ones that are up here by the hinge. It just feels like it's close enough to the hinge that when I press down, the top edge smashes the Polymer just a little bit more. So it looks a little less crisp at the top. So what I like to do is when I'm able to, I will move it so that my stamping is actually done near the middle of my platform or down near the bottom, but I want to avoid the area up here by that hinge. So that's why I did that. Just in case anyone happens to wonder, I'm just going to go right ahead and answer that question for you. So we've placed our stamp image exactly where we want it. Now we're going to flip it back around. I do use Intense Black or sometimes Archival Black all the time. We have a regular black stamp pad, but they all cost the same amount of money, guys. One is not more expensive than the other. And so if you will bypass, that looks pretty good, but I think we're going to do it one more time. If you'll bypass the regular black stamp pad and just get either the Archival or the Intense, I personally think the Intense Black is even more versatile than the Archival, because this is the best one if you're going to re-wetten your stamped image. So maybe you're going to watercolor, or you're going to use your markers or a shimmer brush or something like that, where you're going to re-wetten those stamped lines. This is going to keep your image really crisp. It's not going to bleed or run or smear or smudge or anything like that. So if you can only pick one, I vote for you to grab the Intense Black and just go ahead and bypass the regular black stamp pad. You don't need it. There's nothing that it can do that these others can't do, okay? So we have stamped on here, grateful for you. We have our photos ready to go. Now we are just going to work on our assembly. So like I said, I have already stamped these and trimmed them all out. I am a fairly good fussy cutter. Like, I'm really detailed going around the edges. But in order to do that, it's kind of a slow process. And so to make the videos a little bit shorter, I will do that off camera. So we have our base page here. I'm going to grab out all my pieces that's down inside my little baggie. You do have your ribbon in here. I'm just using mine off the spool, and that's going to go back in another kit. You have these funky shaped pieces. You might be like, what in the world, Suze? I don't even know what to do with those. They're going to be the backing pieces of our sentiment, our little sentiment scallop circles, okay? So let's go ahead ahead, while we're sitting here thinking about that, let's get them matched up. So one of them is going to match, the other one is not. So it looks like this one is the correct buddy for this one. So the one that has more scallops goes on the we're feeling fine, okay? It matches there. This one that has the one single scallop goes in the sunshine. So that is gonna fit perfectly there. So you can see it just kind of hops right down underneath or right next to that little scalloped edge. That is just gonna provide a backing for our sentiment there. So I'm just gonna grab a little bit of adhesive. It doesn't take much. You don't have to put a whole bunch on here, and you don't have to like seal up all the edges with liquid adhesive and all of that. Just make sure that you get some adhesive around there. I'm also going to pop mine up with some foam tape. You can either choose to do that, or you can veto that. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. So I'm going to make sure that my the one without the text, okay? So if you're looking at the text, it's probably not going to be the correct orientation. You're going to want to flip it over to the side that does not have the text. And we are going to line this up where it is right next to those scallops, but that it covers up that entire window. So now you have a backing for in the sunshine, okay? So we've got in the sunshine done. Let's do the same thing to the we're feeling fine. Flip it over, add a little bit of adhesive. And as I said again, guys, it doesn't have to be a lot. Don't get carried away. If you want to place yours down directly onto the base page, you absolutely can. But like I said, I am going to pop mine up with some foam dots because I am a girl that loves dimension, even in my albums. So now we have that backed. Okay, so we're feeling fine. All right, so now let's go ahead and start our assembly. So you have these smaller Seabrook pieces. There is a 3/4 inch tall strip that's going to go on the top, and you have a 1 inch strip that's going to go on the bottom, and you have 2 of each. So one's going to go on one layout, the other will go on the other layout, of course. What I'm going to do is we're going to put this down first, and we will make sure that we get it straight and even across the base page using the grids on our Versamat. But if we put this down, all the others should just fall in line, okay? So if we get this one straight, all the others should be straight too. So I am placing this about 1/8 of an inch from the top. So I'm just lining my base page up to make sure that it's straight across. Now I know that if I have my base page straight and I line up my Seabrook piece with my grids, that my Seabrook piece will be exactly straight as well. So this is a little bit longer. I know it sounds so crazy, but people think that I'm nuts when I will purposefully cut pieces a little longer so that I can make them exactly flush with the edge of whatever you're adhering it to. I can't stand, like, everybody has one of those little pet peeve things, you know, where that just drives you crazy and it doesn't really bother anybody else. And mine is when you have a piece of something and it's one piece, because of human error or because card bases are not always exact and that kind of thing, like it just is shy, you know, like it's a little bit short and it won't go all the way to the edge. That makes me crazy, like crazy. I'm not kidding. Absolutely makes me crazy. So I always feel that if I can purposefully either make a piece longer on purpose or even kind of shrink the piece that it's going on by just a sliver, then I can omit that problem. And I do that just because it bothers me enough when it's like that, I will remedy it anytime I'm able. So that is why I do that. So we're going to put the pine colored text strip on the left, and you're not going to see just a whole bunch of that, guys. So if you want to be ultra frugal girl or boy, I suppose, you can trim out the inner edge and just have a little sliver of the pine up here and a little sliver of the pine down there that will show behind your scallop circle, and then put that back in your little bag or your little stash container or whatever you personally use. That is a little extra you can add there into your little stash. So that's pretty frugal. Sometimes I would probably do that if I wasn't on camera. But we're not going to do it on camera. So we'll grab our photo. Let's get it lined up. Now I have doodled around the edge of my photo, and I'm going to doodle around the edge of my pattern paper as well, but we had to get the photograph on there before we did that. So what I'm going to do now is, you can see that journaling line around the outside of the photo. I'm going to go ahead and extend that around the outer edge of our page. Now this will take just a moment. I don't like to make the videos unnecessarily long, but again, this was a part that I could not do beforehand, because you actually have to have the pieces on the page before you can do that. So I am just running it around the edge. And if you guys ever get into the habit of doing this, I need to upload my journaling class to the YouTube channel. I filmed it years ago, and it's a couple hours long. And the people that took the class walked away with sample cards of how to do about 30 or 35 different styles of journaling. It was very cool. So like rave reviews on it back when I did it years ago, but it's never made it past my Facebook page. So I need to transfer that over to the YouTube channel, and that might be helpful for some of you guys. Maybe you do already journal around the edges of your pages, or maybe you don't do it yet and you would like a little bit of instruction, a few tips to do that. That might be helpful for you. It's funny because the class initially kind of came about because I was getting pounded with questions. My number one asked question after what does your studio look like, which I addressed that as well, was how do you get your doodling lines so straight? Everybody wanted to know that. And I thought, you know, everybody's asking, so maybe I'll just do a class and, you know, really show them exactly how I hold my pen and kind of the method behind the madness and what really works well for me. And so, if that would be helpful for any of you guys, leave me a comment below and I will get it uploaded on YouTube, and I'll just link it for you right under your comments. So let me know, and I will be so happy to do that for you. So we're doing the same thing on the right page that we did on the left. So we've got our 1/8 of an inch border on the bottom, trimming off my overhang, and we will, oops, you know what I did? Ugh, rats, hang on. Because I'm talking, we already established that when I'm talking, my brain is not working to the best of its ability, my friends. So this is easy to correct, like with no problem. So we're moving it over to the right side. So make your pages opposite one another. Don't make them match, because they're not going to have that beautiful mirrored look that we're hoping for if you do what I did, okay? So this is the portion of the video where I show you what not to do. If I was one of those fancy schmancy video editors, I would, like, you know, make a fun blooper reel or something like that, but, you know, ain't nobody got time for that. So we're gonna add our photograph down here, just like we did on the others. And we're going to run our doodling pen around the outer edge of this as well. Make sure that my photo is straight. Okay. So when we're done with that, we're going to add our scallop circles and our greenery, and then we're almost going to be done. It is a very, very quick page to put together, or pages to put together. And they're very neutral, guys, on purpose. I will always, when I'm able, and it's very, as I said, it's very difficult when you're forced to use one stamp set for both types of projects. It is really challenging. But when I'm able to make them super generic so that they could work with a very big variety of photos, then I'm going to do that. And so the We're Feeling Fine in the Sunshine, I felt like would be really generic, and it could work with a large variety of photos. So let's go ahead and work on this little guy. So we're going to put some foam tape on the back of our scallop circle. If you want to put it down directly down onto your page, you can. But as we have established many times, I am a dimension girl. And so I am using the insides of my shaker foam and acetate. It's funny too. Like I tell you guys all the time, I'm a frugal girl and I'm not even sorry about it. But what's interesting is that when we got these in our catalog a few years ago, they were made for creating slimline shaker cards. Okay, so you have your frame, your foam frame around the outside. They have they've cut up all of the foam that's in the middle, so you can use it as foam dots or foam squares. And then the package also came with acetate that was cut down to size for the slimline shaker cards. But what was so interesting is that it was kind of a high price point. When you looked at the package, it was like $13 to get 6 sets. And some people were saying they felt like that was really high. And I thought, you know what? I'm just curious how many essentially inches of foam tape is in that kit, and really how much more, if it is more expensive, is it than just buying foam tape on the roll. And the funny thing is I took my calculator out and I measured out all of the inches and that type of thing, and not counting the acetate that's in the packages, you actually, I knew that happened, so I'm gonna move that mat again. That kind of drives me crazy. What actually happened was when I took my calculator to it, these getting foam tape per inch here was about a third less expensive than foam tape on the roll. And this was already cut for you, so you didn't even have to get your scissors and take the time to cut it. You could just automatically take it and transfer it over. So what's funny is that now, even if I don't intend to make slimline shaker cards, I buy these packs because like I said, the foam is already cut into squares for me. I don't have to use my scissors, which saves me time, saves me hassle, and it's less expensive. And then I still, even if I'm using just the foam, I still have all the acetate sheets as well, which is really heavy duty acetate. If you guys have never grabbed any of our collections, our acetate is very heavy duty. It makes extremely quality shakers, but it's just fun that if you look at the kit just only for purchasing foam tape, it's a third less expensive to get it in the kits, and it makes your job quicker and easier as well. So if you did not know that, now you do. So I'm telling you, frugal girl, and I'm not even sorry. So I have 4 of our greeneries, and 2 are going to go on the right page, 2 are going to go on the left page. One of them I am going to place up on top of our We're Feeling Fine. So I don't want it sticking out below the bow that we're going to make here in a moment. So I'm actually going to cut it off. So I'm just cutting the bottom portion of that off, and we'll lay that there for a second. So I'm going to, before I take my foam tape off of my scallop circle, I just want to kind of maneuver this around so I can get my greenery. So I'm happy with my greenery before I smash that down. So I'm just kind of holding it down with my hand, but making it where I can still slide the greenery up underneath it. So then this one, I actually might cut off a little more. Let's see. I might cut off a little more of my greenery. So I might cut it off at an angle so it can kind of tilt the other way. Yeah, so it can tilt the other way, and then my bow will cover up this funky looking weird edge down here. So I'm just going to make sure that I have this angled correctly, where this bottom is going to be straight from left to right. So my bow will cover it up. So I think that looks good. What I'm going to do, since this top portion overhangs where our foam tape layer is, I'm going to grab one more piece of foam tape, and I'm going to put it just right up here on the top. That's going to keep it from getting smushed when it's in our page protector inside our album. That little top part isn't going to get smushed because it is not flush with this portion of the scallop circle that has that foam tape underneath it. So now let's just kind of get this centered the way we like it. I'm making sure that my cut line is straight. Go ahead and place that down on the scallop circle. And I did not take the backing of my foam tape off yet, because I'm going to do that right now. And when we put it down, everything that needs to be underneath it is already adhered and in its proper position, so we don't have to worry about jerking anything up. And then when we take these off, all we have to do is place this down, and our greenery that's attached to it is also in the right place. I'm a big proponent of if you have multiple pieces or multiple layers, multiple elements, place those together as much as possible before you bring it over to your project to finally adhere it down. It's so much easier to maneuver around one single piece that's kind of all the elements are placed together than it is building it one element at a time, because you're then pulling it up and sticking it under and then pulling this back up and sticking it under. And it's just so much easier to do it all in the beginning before you move it over there, and then take a chance, of course, of, ripping your cardstock and things like that we don't want to do. So while we're sitting here, before we move on, since we don't have a bow on the other page, we're going to make our bow really quickly. So I talked a little bit about the Bow Easy in one of the other video tutorials. I can't remember which size I used, and the size of your bow is determined by the outer edges of your prongs. Like this makes a bow, and then this makes a smaller bow. I'm going to get my Bow Easy tutorial that I personally created for my customers years ago. I'm going to get that uploaded onto my YouTube channel as well. So if you guys are intrigued about the Bow Easy, you have a really great tutorial. There was a tutorial years ago that was referred to by the company, and it was really not good. It was dark and not very thorough, and it was kind of a struggle. And so I decided there wasn't a good tutorial about how to create a bow with the Bow Easy out there in the World Wide Web. So I just made one. So if you guys are fascinated by it, I will put that on the YouTube channel, and you guys can go and take a peek. Leave me a comment below, and I'll make sure that will remind me to link the videos for you when I get them uploaded. So you make your bows backwards and upside down. So this is upside down and backwards, okay? But when you flip it over and you take it up off of the little template, you have a beautiful, you can make double bows, triple bows, you can make multi-loop bows. It is so cool. You can make singles if you want, I just never do. But look how great that is. Again, I didn't, show you guys a lot about it because the tutorial will really walk you through much better and more thorough than I could. So I am just putting a few glue dots on the back of the bow, and then we'll place it down on our page. We'll get the scallop circle down on the other page, add a few gems, and we'll be done, guys. So it's not going to take long. These are really, these are created to be quick and easy scrapbook pages and cards. It's just like a fun little bite size project for you guys to work on. Nothing that's going to overwhelm you or take you a long time. I have customers over the years that have told me that they take the projects with them. One mom, for many years, her son was in traveling ball, and so she would save her kits for when they had away out-of-town tournaments, and she would take her kits with her. She didn't have to have very many tools. It was already pre-cut for her. She just bring her adhesive and a few ink pads, and she was like ready to go. So I love hearing people that, really make the most of their time and are super productive. And she said that she kind of started liking traveling ball a little more because she felt like when her son was like having meetings or practices and things like that, when she wasn't actively watching the game, she felt like she had a little bit of her time, me time, right? So I felt like that kind of did my heart good to hear that. So we're gonna do the same thing with that we did with the other one. So we're just doing it upside down. We have adhesive on the back side of my greenery, and so I am just holding my scallop circle where it's going to go when it is adhered down, and we'll place one down. I think we're going to be happy with that there. This one we're going to bring back up here. This is going to save us from having to pull up glue dots and all of that if we don't like the placement. Let's see. Let me bring that down a little tiny bit. Okay, so we have our greenery here, just two little pieces that are overlapping each other, super simplistic. I'm going to pull off my foam tape. And again, guys, if you want to just use regular adhesive and bring this flat down onto your page, you certainly can. If you don't like dimension, it's okay. We can still be friends. But I encourage you, explore using some foam tape. I just feel like it just kind of takes your projects up to another level when they're stand up off of the surface. So we're going to put our scallop circle back exactly where it needs to go. Okay, so let's add a few of our gems. And it looks like I'm going to need a few more of the light colored or the small ones. So this is the gold brown blend marker, and I'm using the darkest of the 3 shades. So I'm just really quickly adding some color on here. It is a very light color of gold. I put 3 coats on mine, and 3 coats matched our gold glitter gems that are now retired. So don't fret, you guys that are sad that the gold glitter gems retired. With just a marker, just your alcohol marker, or if you can find a Sharpie, that is the correct color. You can color on top of those silver glitter gems and you can get a beautiful gold color, or multiple colors, of course, if you want to use others. So as you saw me there really quickly, just 3 little quick passes. I didn't even honestly wait for them to dry. Let's see. So we've got a little triangle up there. We'll add one down here. Okay, so almost done, you guys. Let's grab the one with the bow. Almost finished. As I said, you guys can see the other videos for the projects up on the YouTube channel. And if you have not placed your order yet during the month of June and you would like to place an order on my website so that you can earn these project kits totally free, you're welcome to do that. And all of the links and information for how to find my website and all that good stuff are down in the description of the video as well. So we are finished with our mini album pages. I absolutely love them. Again, guys, super generic, right? So lots of photos. Pretty much, I would say most outdoor photos, maybe with a little bit of sunshine, are going to work perfect. There's not really some funky colors that are going to, be a little distracting or anything like that. It's not super themed. I think you guys will enjoy them. So I hope that you are enjoying your kits this month. And I hope that you guys are able to put some really great photos in your pages, and it's getting pages in your albums. That is the key to it, right? Is to fill those albums. That is really when we start to feel, I think, accomplished, is when the photos and the artwork actually make it in the albums for other people to take a peek at. That is very important. So if you guys have questions about this video or any of the other videos that are on the YouTube channel, or if maybe you would like to know about how to become a Close to My Heart VIP, or would like to place an order with me, please feel welcome to comment below. I will go and address those, and I will be so happy to serve in whatever way that I am able. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I thank you so much for watching, and please let me know if I can serve in any way. I will be so happy to do that. I will see you guys next time, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.